Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. How is everybody? Welcome, Russell, Juicy. Wednesday, we are halfway through the week. Actually, in my case, I am more than halfway through the week. Since my DRZ, hello, Hans. Good to see you. Virtually, that is. Busy morning. Got a little bit of business to attend to before we start ripping into some interesting things today. First and foremost, and most importantly, I am proud to say my daughter is engaged. So, her longtime boyfriend of a few years proposed last night, and so that's no date set yet, but we are very happy. And he had actually stopped by the house. Gosh, what was it? A month or so ago, and asked me for permission to marry her. So, thank you, Russell. Thank you. So we knew it was going to happen, but at the time he said it was going to happen sometime between then and February. Well, so yeah, so he and it was funny because the day he asked, he sent me a text, and of course I have his number just in case I need it, but I don't ever call him, I don't text him, and he asked me if I was going to be home later, if he could stop by. I'm like, well, why are you texting me? And Lindsay was here shooting pictures, and I almost asked her, and then I said, oh, that's what it is. I say, yeah, I'll be home later. So then we had to keep it secret because obviously, Lindsay didn't know, and it could have been February, or March or whenever. But thanks, Juicy Greyhound Mom. Yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, so and it was something that Lisa had sort of drilled into him. Said, listen, there's two things you got to do. You got to ask Brian, and and anyway, that's and the wedding has to be like, we got to have a somewhat normal wedding for like the normal people, and you want to have a wedding with all your other friends at one of your events. That's fine. So, but anyway, yeah, that happened. We actually got a text from Lisa's mom, and she's like, "Oh, the rings look pretty," and we're like, "What?" And apparently they posted pictures of the rings on Facebook, and that's how everybody found out except for us. They didn't call us, and so Lisa was like, and Lisa has that panicked look on her face. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh crap, who died? It was a nice photo. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I guess Lisa posted it, didn't she? And I thought, oh man, someone died, because that's what I had a friend of mine, his longtime girlfriend of like 40 years, passed away last week, and I'm like, oh crap, not another one. I can't take two in a week, and here was Lindsay getting engaged. So, and apparently the way it went down is they were going downtown, and they were going to take this art class, and they had a hard time finding, it's in the new museum, a hard time finding where the front door is. Understandably so, is ridiculously confusing. And by the time they figured out where to park and where it was, they were 15 minutes late, and they decided, you know what, let's not do that. Let's go to dinner. They went to dinner. Linz loves pasta, so they went to the local pasta place, which is famous around here anyway. And then they went to the park where they met, and apparently he wasn't prepared. He left the rings at home. So yeah, we're all invited. We have no idea when it's going to be. So no idea. Next year, 2 years from now, I really don't know. So don't care. Don't care. He put a ring on it. So anyway, so there is that. So we're all excited. The other thing I want to say this morning is I got a really lovely letter from Rick. And Rick, if you're watching, I don't know if you are. Um, I want to say, people write us letters from time to time, and regrettably, I don't always write back, because we do get a lot of mail, and this is maybe the most thoughtful, funniest letter we have ever received. And I don't want to show it to you because I would keep privacy, but he's got stickers on here, kick some ass and, hot mess. And I mean, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. It just made us laugh and smile. And so, I think he must have seen the article in Penworld or something. And, so anyway, Rick, if you're watching, thank you so much. It's too funny. It's too funny. Like, I'm going to read it again later because there's like all these hilarious stickers on here. And they're 110% correct. So there's that. Third piece of business today. Just recently, like in the last 45 minutes, Dr. G's arrived on my doorstep, the deoxidizer. So if you have been waiting for deoxidizer, it is here. Now I get it in bulk, so then I have to, what they do is I have two options. I can buy it and just like you can on the website, you buy it in the 10-ounce bottle, or you can buy it in a gallon. Well, I buy it in the gallon. It's easier on those guys because they just ship me gallon and then they ship me the extra bottles and I do the bottling here. So there's less possibility of anything leaking. It's a little bit cheaper. I'm essentially going to get my deox for free that I use, almost every day. So I've poured out a couple gallons of it, and it is up and on the website. So if you have been waiting for it, it is here. The Rejuvenator Clean and Shine is going to be probably a couple weeks from my understanding. I don't know. Shipping to the UK. I know, Juicy, you were interested. You're just going to have to see what it prices out at. It's probably going to be pretty expensive. It might be prohibitively so. I don't know. My guess is it's going to be in that. It might be $30 to ship a $38 bottle of stuff. So, just be aware of that. If there is any overage, if it costs less, I always, if it's a significant amount, if it's like $1, I don't refund it. But if it's $5, $10 less, I always refund it anyway. But there's no guarantees because every package is different. So, Deox is in. I'm glad because I was getting down to the bare bones, and now we got some. So I'll finish mixing that up tomorrow. But I've got enough in there now for if anybody wants to grab some. It is available. All right. Your ex-sister-in-law's father had been engaged for 20 years. I don't know if he and Claire did get married before he died. Yeah, well, this better not be 20 years. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. But they both. He's a hard worker, and I wish him well. So I'm excited for him. It'll be fun. I haven't been to a wedding in ages. I couldn't tell you last time I was at a wedding. I know Lisa was at one 3 or 4 years ago for a friend of hers daughter, but and I will admit, I did lay awake for a small portion last night trying to decide what pen I was going to have in my pocket for that day. Don't forget the speech. Yeah, I got to work on that. Right. I get to walk her down the aisle, so that's all I care about. So, I hope she's not listening. Maybe she is. Anyway, so okay, yesterday, let's get into some repairs. I did get a client repairing today. I had to order a new suit, shoes, and all the rest to match the pen. I wish we were the same shoe size, because I think you have maybe the world's nicest collection of shoes. Every other week we talk, you're finding a new pair of shoes. Might need registrars, yeah, maybe. I'm thinking about a Schaefer Legacy. Lots of fun new things, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's silly to think about it now. I mean, the pen I have for that day I might not even own yet, right? But maybe like a Schaefer Legacy from the '90s, a Legacy 1 with the stub nib. That might be nice. That might be classy. We'll see. All right. Let's go back to the bench where we left off yesterday's dilemma. So after further research, and I'm gonna make a plug for this book. If you don't have this book, Parker Duofold, Shepard and Zazoff book. Let's see Brian wear a powder blue tuxedo. I don't think so. If you don't have this book and you're interested at all in duofolds, this is one of the best, and I do mean best. I have a fairly healthy collection of most of the modern pen books. There's a lot of books that just show pictures of pens. This is research. It's insane. Here's that thing dropped 30,000 feet. 3,000 feet, sorry. 30,000, that'd be impressive. 25 stories to cement, picked up unbroken. Yeah. Over the rim of the Grand Canyon. I mean, all this stuff. This is the best book. If you're interested in duofolds or early Parker stuff, there's no longer in print. But if you find one, you should get it at almost any cost. This is such a fantastic book. It's well done. Unlike the 51 book, it has very few errors. You should repeat those tests. It would make for an interesting stream. I think Lisa once drove over an Esterbrook barrel in a Jeep Cherokee or something once. So she tells me. But anyway, get this book. This is fantastic. I was reading this I love reading this book. Whenever I have a question on duofolds, I whip through here, and inevitably the answer is there. Like, here's a page here. All of the different nib imprints over the years. And actually leads me to discover that it's kind of hard to show the whole thing here. This one on the bottom right here is actually in my early 1927 Mandarin. So the nib in here is wrong. It's the wrong nib. The nib in here is actually earlier than the pen. It is this one here, which is listed as 1924. So it's all really a crapshoot. For sure. But interestingly enough, and then they have all your cap designs. So 27 for the Mandarin is when this came out. Now, interestingly enough, And then in 28 came the double cap bands. Yeah, the 51 book is, I mean, there's how many errors in the first 10 pages? You know, there's imprints. I mean, it's super great. But here's what makes this so great. And this is probably why I'm interested in dual folds, because you can pinpoint this down. Let me find it here. Page 76, I think it was. Yeah, so here we go. Here's the 2 pages that talk about the Mandarin. And you can see here, May 1927 survey, color preference, yellow, 12.6% of sales. And then down here, you'll note, if you know your dual folds, you know the very first Mandarins had yellow threads. Neither of these do. And the early pens, I'll read this here, gave cause to particular complaint. The threads of the barrel frequently became stained when the pen was filled. The suggestion that the threads could be cleaned with toothpaste, quote, clean your pen with Pepsodent, end quote, was not greeted with much enthusiasm. And in June of 1927, the yellow pen was improved by altering the threaded part of the barrel to black. Thus, any pen with black threads like this means it's no earlier than June of 1927. And we know that this is a 1927 cap. There's our black threads. So June of 27. And then we know, we flip through a couple more pages later, it says in August of 1928, the dual fold caps were redesigned once more. The single band was replaced by 2 narrow bands on the senior and junior models. So this pen was only made between June of 1927 and August of 1928. And then this would have been August of 1928 to when they came out with the Streamline, which was in, 29? Let's pull that up here. Let's see if they give a month here. It just says 29. So August of 1928 to at some point in 1929. So not very long for either one of these. From the blurb, Big Red first seen in 1921. What were Big Red? Big Red is the essentially is the orange, the red version of this pen. This guy here, the senior, dual fold senior. Thanks, Michelle. Who wears a good supply of pen books? Yeah, it's sadly these days sometimes you just have to wait until someone passes away and their collection becomes available. I mean, it's really kind of how it is. You might see them on eBay, but you kind of have to look around. So anyway, this is it's a fantastic book. It is thick. It is very thick. What is it? 300 and it includes some new stuff too. 362 pages. But it also gets into, there's some Frank Lloyd Wright stuff in there because they were friends, marketing. There's ads, boxes, English stuff, modern stuff. There's a used one on eBay for $695. Yeah, that's no good. That's no good. I mean, if I for some reason lost this and I had to buy a new one, I would pay $250 for this book. I use it that often. I mean, it's just such a good book. It's kind of soft cover, so I don't like that about it, but That's that. All right. So after further ado, yesterday we discovered that this somewhat beautiful cap with no cracks in the cap lip actually has this huge crack going up from the breather hole to the top. It's a tight crack, but it's a crack nonetheless. And that's a very expensive, very expensive crack. So what we're going to do is we are just going to put this back together. I mean, I could, if I wanted to, I could cover it up. But then you've got the breather hole in the back. It's usually offset in the middle. You look for the dimple. Duct tape or spacklet, yeah. Well, I've already reached out to Ron Zorn. The problem is it might be too tight of a crack to fix. You need to be able to spread the crack to get a solvent or something in there. And it's too bad because I've got this stinking little stripe up the side. So what we're going to do is, and what, after further discussion with Mrs. A, I'm going to just keep, I was going to sell one of these. CA gluten Toffelmeyer clamp. I don't know. That's probably not the right type of glue. I've decided I'm just going to keep both of these pens. Yellow Sharpie might help. Something tells me you might be serious, but I don't know. So I'm going to keep both of them. It never hurts to have a Mandarin Duofold Senior in your collection. As evidenced by the book, I mean, neither one of these were made for, I mean, this was probably made longer than this one, you know. Big Red screams my pop at me. I've decided to go for it. So anyway, the value on these is only going to appreciate over time, I think. It's certainly not going to go down. They're not making them anymore. So maybe someday if I find a third Duofold Senior in Mandarin, maybe I can upgrade one of these two. But in the meantime, one of them does work. Little pencil in there. This is the to go home pouch. All right. That's kind of fun. Fun stuff. Let's take a look at this. What we got cooking today. We're going to work. We're going to reassemble the Snorkel here. Since the Snorkel didn't come out, which is kind of how you do want it, if it's the correct length, hopefully it is the correct length and we can assemble it and it will be good to go. We'll test it. This guy is good to go. We did it yesterday. We're going to skip over this for now. That spot. And so this pen came to me in the mail today, and we're missing some pieces here. So we are going to try to find a whole hood, nib, collector. Well, it's not really a collector filling system. The whole ball of wax to see if we can fit in this pen. It is this person's mother's pen. So we'll see if we can get that working. And then just for fun, from the vault, as it were, checking Cardinal pens for that tray use, not available. These are not available. These are vintage 1990s Schaefer trays. You know, they're not available. Actually, I sold when we closed the store last year. I actually had boxes of these, and I sold too many of them. Actually, I think I may only have. This may be the only tray I have. I'm not 100% certain. So they're handy. If you can find them, they're really good because you can pull this out, and I'm in need of cleaning it. And you can clean it, and it's plastic, and it's good to go for the next one. If I seriously wanted to try to fix a crack, you'd get a bad cap. Mix up some liquid celluloid using material from the bad cap. Get it into the crack with a micro applicator and then build it up over, then polish it down flush. I would put a pin in the breather hole to preserve that. Yeah, I don't know. It's not. I could just as well just send it to Ron. I don't know that crack repair is the thing that I want to figure out in my life. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, THF. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would use. Yeah. Ron was telling me about that. Yeah, it's nasty stuff, and nobody should use it. Nobody should, and seriously, nobody should use it unless you know what you're doing. It's toxic. It's explosive if not used, if not bought and used correctly, and yada yada yada. So I'm not even going to talk about it. We shouldn't even talk about it. Anyway, this guy from the vault. It's kind of a cool pen. Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, it's a heavy bottle. It's bigger. It doesn't fit in a small package. $55 to ship is probably pretty close to accurate. I can if you want, shoot me an email, and I can weigh it and see exactly what it is, and we can do that if you want. It might be less, but I don't know. This is a Aikin Lambert Capital Educator, but it's a matchstick filler. That's why we have this hole here. I don't have a matchstick, so we'll use a Q-tip or something. Q-tip probably fit. I can pull the head off the Q-tip to press it, but essentially what this is if you've never seen a matchstick filler before, you use the back of a wooden match to depress the J bar, or in some cases it's a pressure bar, and I don't remember what it is on this pen. We'll find out when we open it. In some cases, it's literally just a straight metal bar that rests on top of the sack. There's no J involved. There's no and then you just push it down, and it helps compress the sack evenly. This is a threaded section. It's very early. Well, it's early. I mean, it's an Aikin, so it's early. But it's missing the feed. It's missing the feed. It's broken off. The nib looks okay. Yeah, raised threads. And it would be nice to line this up so that the hole in the nib is on top. I guess would probably be there's no barrel imprint, so my inclination would be to have the hole on top. I don't know that I would want it that way, but Or maybe I want it down, because if it is, we'll have to see what it looks like. If it is just a bar, then having it on top means that there is a slight pressure pressing down on that sack, which might affect the flow. I mean, it's minimal. So then in that case, maybe I want the matchstick on the bottom. I don't know. Either way, I think I've got a feed for it. So we're gonna hunt for a feed, clean up that nib, put a sack in it, and it should be good to go. It has the original Mercantile clip. Now, what I have seen on these, and I'm not going to do it because it's on here pretty tight, is you can, on some versions, some pens, you'll see that this clip is slid all the way down, such that this little teardrop part is below the base of the clip, in which case then you can use that, because it fits in there, to push down on in the hole to use for the matchstick. But these are pretty tight once they're on here. I don't, we could see about getting it off, but I don't think we need to. I'm just going to kind of Q-tip around it and fix the feed and clean up the nib and put a sack in it, and I think we'll be good to go. So let's hop on this guy right away. Let's get this taken care of. I always like to check if this is one of those sections that has 3 smaller and 1 large. Then I have to align this up appropriately, but in this case, they're all the same side. The ribs are. Oh, Greyhound Mom, that's your pen. Okay. Yeah, it literally came half an hour ago. And I should say, absolutely perfect. What Greyhound Mom did for including name, address, email, a short little piece of paper. Everything is nicely typed out. Phone number, everything is perfect. You'd just be shocked at how many people send something, and just because they're using a fountain pen, they think that their handwriting is legible and awesome, and it's not. I've been able to identify everybody's stuff so far, but I do remember one case where somebody sent me something I had no idea who it was. I mean, it took me days to figure out who this person was. You couldn't even send him a letter because I couldn't read the address. I wasn't sure it was going to get there. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I should mention there is a strong possibility tomorrow's stream will be, and I'll remind this. I'll remind you at the end of the stream here. Tomorrow's stream may be delayed. I had a vendor send me an order, and they shipped it to my house. Which it's not a huge deal. It's highly inconvenient, of course. But I have had things stolen from my house before, and I guess the super inconvenient part about it is it's 2 boxes, and one of the 2 boxes, and for whatever reason I can't read the tracking information very well. One of the 2 boxes is 60 pounds. It's like 2 boxes of ink, and so I've got to go to my house, grab this stuff, and then bring it back. Whereas, it could be just nicely delivered here. But, so they say anywhere between like 10 and 2:30 tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. So what I may do is I may just come in the morning, ship everything, take it straight to the post office, go home, and then just wait. I hang out with my cats for the day or something. All right. So what I forgot to do, we're going to do this first. All right. Let's see how lucky we are today. Related to earlier discussion, international shipping, PayPal's multi-order shipping tool has massive discounts on UPS international rates. So you have to manually enter the information. The same with it. Yeah, I have noticed, even domestically, the shipping rates for UPS are outstanding. I mean, they're really. Lisa and I, in fact, Lisa and I are going to talk about shipping on Friday during the podcast. The rates have gone up significantly. I know I've lost is a maybe a misleading term because I offer free shipping. But I've lost several $1,000s in shipping this year. Um, but there are a lot of instances where people do pay shipping, and the shipping rate is actually it exceeds the actual amount that they pay. But what I notice is through ShipStation, it automatically informs me of other rate options. Hey, I'm missing a screwdriver of all things. Um, and I see all the time. Um, Almost every package that's not Midwest for me anyway is cheaper via UPS. Now, I'm not a big fan of UPS because you have switched a lot to UPS. Um, my biggest concern with UPS is they just like to drop the package off and leave it. You know, I mean, I guess UPS does that too, but at least UPS puts it in the mailbox, right? Um, so and UPS does give me free packing supplies. Well, not supplies, but free boxes. Although I have switched to using a lot of my own boxes this year. And while that doesn't always equate to a cheaper shipping rate, oftentimes it does equate to less packing material, which, is also not, that's not free either. Okay. Sorry, I'm missing a screwdriver on my bench here, and it's driving me nuts. There it is. It's locally different, which is worse. Where I live, UPS is best and FedEx is the worst. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use FedEx. We've got a local but yet to the post office needing a piece of tape to seal a package up and they won't help you out. Yeah. Um, we've got regular UPS delivery here in the building, so yeah, that worked out nice. Yeah, I mean, they used to. I really liked it when. Is anybody old enough here to remember when U.S. Postal Service would give you a roll of priority mail tape? I still have a few boxes that I've assembled over the years, mostly parts bins that I use that tape on. So yeah, we are looking at some options. I just don't know that. Yeah, those were the good old days. You want to see the snorkel nib up close? Um, this is what that first year alloy. Sorry for the glare. I gotta figure out how to get rid of that glare. Yeah. But it doesn't have a gold snorkel tube. It's got the standard. The left tine's a little bit wonky, so uh first year section. I don't remember. One's got a real got the real wide. I can't remember if that's first year or not. It's later, yeah. Really, alloy nibs seem to have extended past the section redesign. Okay. Well, I mean, as they say, you learn something new every day, and the alloy thing nib is new for me. All right, we're gonna test this out. We'll see how it works. I think the nib is straighter. Well, it's not. I'm not getting a fill here. Let's check the section. Yeah, point holder's good. Oh. The spirit of Cheryl Tyree is with me today. There is a crack in the barrel. It is in why I say the spirit of Cheryl. If you know Cheryl, she once told me she was checking pen. See if I can get this to focus on this here. And right through W.A. Schaefer, there is a crack right in the imprint. Yeah, this is the replacement barrel. All right, let me go get that bag out. I think I might have one more. Well, I might have a couple. Definitely not that one. This one looks like it's got the wrong kind of shade to it. Scared the heck out of me. Ben Addict. Rating with a party of 77. Hello, folks. How are you? Gourmet. Aziza, how you doing? Slumberland, welcome. From Corolla, nice to see you. Indy, hello. Addie. There we go. Welcome, everybody. It's Snorkel Wednesday. Or at least that's what this is. I think this barrel will be good. How's everybody doing over in the Pen Addict lands? Let's take this apart. This is our backup here. Always good to see you. Thank you. Where are we here? Which one is which? This one here. So what we're gonna do, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tape this so we know that there's a crack. I don't have a ballpoint handy, so that's this is kind of my little system if you haven't seen this before. Newland, thanks for the subscribe. Appreciate it. This way, when I go looking in the bin the next time, and I see this green thing here, I know that there's something wrong with this, and not to spend, because I probably at one point figured out. Fountain Pen News, how you doing? that there was a crack in here. But I didn't label it, so now I've wasted all this time. And we're going to save this trim ring because this is from the original pen. Come on. I want to try to keep as much. This is kind of a what I would call an heirloom pen. I'd like to keep as much of it as possible. Now I'm just gonna. That's a new O-ring, so I'm not gonna lose it in there. Actually, but I know it's silly, but it may seem silly, but it's not. There we go. So hopefully, Fro, happy Wednesday. How you doing? So let's hope that this doing great. Getting things ready for your daughter's birthday this weekend. Well, happy birthday to her. Gabriel, howdy. How you doing? Is it a big party? Is it a little quiet shindig at home? I tell you, I'm gonna have to start buying some snorkels here to stock up on some parts. Peggy Love, how you doing? Good to see you. You got a mini heat wave? Yeah, ours is today. It's like 50 something today. Which now reminds me I was supposed to call on American M1. Thanks for the follow. I was supposed to call on my car has been sitting over at the shop for 2 weeks. I can't wait to see what they say about that. You let her know I said it. You're doing pottery painting at a shop near you. Family will be there. About 14 people. Holy moly. 68 in Colorado. You know, you know what's cold. You know what's cold in Wisconsin when the mail carrier is not wearing shorts. In fact, we commented on it today. We said, "You're not wearing shorts today." You got to see the Northern Lights last night? Yeah, I saw some pictures this morning. Tonight's supposed to apparently supposed to maybe even be better. I should try to get out and look at it. It's supposed to be even better in the northern hemisphere, so So we're going to put that on here. It's on nice and tight. You couldn't see him with the naked eye. Oh, so when you took the picture, that's when you could see it, huh? They were pretty cool pictures. You went to Iceland to see the Northern Lights. Only saw it from the plane. Well, you know. All right. Let's see if this is going to do it. There we go. That'll do it. Yep. Okay. I'm just going to put the rest of this stuff back in the parts bag. Deal with it later. We're going to try this again. Now that I found that screwdriver I've been missing for. There we go. Actually did not. I'm going to do this again. I didn't actually. The first time you always should get the feed in the ink. In other words, there's nothing in the feed. Yeah, that nib is kind of anemic. Shouldn't run out like that. Okay, maybe it just needed to flow a little bit further. Trying to get ready here. We've got Appleton Pen Club coming up on Sunday, and people are coming here to the shop. So I've been in between doing everything else. I'm trying to organize it and straighten things up so it's just not a complete disaster. is that doing that? Did I wipe it off? Do I recommend the Parker piston converter for the Parker 45? Yeah, absolutely. It'll fit. You can at least see what your ink capacity is compared to using the squeeze converter. That's the beauty of the 45. It's it's a vintage pen, but it uses all the same gear. As a regular modern pen. So the right tine was kind of, it's an exaggeration, but it was bent in a little bit. I think it's better. You found Schaefer Triumph Sentinel Deluxe in green. You have it soaking to remove the nib unit. I'm nervous as I'm new to restoring. Triumph Sentinel Deluxe. You got a picture of it? Got a little bit of feedback. Oh, it is a plunger. Okay. Well, yeah, if it's not a touchdown, there's a couple different versions of that pen, and some of them are more difficult to get open than others. It's maybe it may be not the best pen to start your restoration career on. There we go. That works. Reputable nibmeister in the Midwest. Well, just so you know, any nibmeister is going to take you. Uh, it's going to be 3 months, easy. Linda Kennedy is really pretty good. Yeah. Your best bet, if it's depending on what work you need, is to try to find her at a show. Now, there's no more shows now until Philly in January. You might check Linda's schedule Independence.com. And see when their next show is. If they go to Philly, it's almost if it's something simple, they can work on it at the show for you, and you don't have to wait 3 months. No, you're gonna have to wait 2 months. Till the show comes, but then at least you don't have to send it, and I don't know that they do Philly though. So Baltimore, maybe they might do Baltimore. The other one you found was a Schaefer Snorkel. I had no clue what it was, but I love the nib. Needless to say, I was in for a challenge. Okay, you got supplies from the shop. Great, thank you. Yeah, I mean, almost no. There's not very many people that do vac fills. In fact, I've got a pile of them sitting over on my table my side table over here. Great Scott! Sorry, I had to say it that way. Thanks for the follow. I got a pile of them sitting over on my table next to my lathe. Because it's going to be the next thing, that I'm going to have to figure out. Because I just have so many of them, and the prices on sending those out, because I used to send them out to friends, and I still do on occasion. The prices are going up. Their prices to me are going up, and which is fine. I understand, but at this point, and I've done the repair once or twice. But it's just, you need, and Hans is right, make sure you're ready for all the eccentricities and special needs involved in restoring. Yeah, because there's like a couple different varieties, and the parts are not interchangeable. And so that's the big thing, is if you're going to start down the path of restoring these, you have to have part spends, because something's going to break. And I think there's one version, and I remember being told that one of the versions almost always breaks when you try to take the nib off, and I forget which version it is. Oh, baby's bottom, yeah, I mean, sadly, there's not. You probably could take care of it yourself, but I don't recommend it unless you've done some practice. There's not a show in the Midwest until May. If you can get to a show, if you can get to Philly or Baltimore or LA in February, you can get to any of those shows, they can do it right there. And it can be, and they'll be typically, these days, there's sometimes 2, 3, 4 nib people at a show. I mean, and for them, it's a 5-minute job or less. So this did move a little bit, so I'm just going to put a little shellac in place. To help make sure it doesn't move again. It's in pretty good shape. Sounds like a plan to be your first ever show. You wanted to go to Ohio, but you was caught up on, oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. It's a great show. Put it on your calendar for next year. The hotel sucked, but I mean, the show's great. And especially at Ohio. At Ohio, you've got, not only do you have Linda Kennedy, Mike Kennedy there repairing pens. It's one of the few shows that Richard Binder still goes to. And right next to Richard Binder is Ron Zorn. I mean, and Kirk Spear was there. I mean, It's unbelievable. It's a great show. If you need work done, those 5 people alone, and there are probably somebody else there that I wasn't even thinking of. But yeah, put it on your calendar. Ask off now. Plan to be sick. I mean, whatever you need to do. All right, so that's good. Let's move on to this 21. Tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll seal this up. You were hoping someone was streaming the show this year, but no dice. I was planning on doing it, but I got caught up in. Honestly, I got caught up in buying on Friday. And my choices were to just to stream or to do what I was there to do, and I decided buying was what I needed to do. Any plans to go to the California show in February? No, probably not. You'll put in vacation for it. You have 6 weeks, so you dedicate a few days to it. Yeah, and definitely what I say is, if you can, if you like going to auctions, and if you've got the time, and depending on how many days you want to stay, I don't really care for the fact that, and I think a lot of people don't either, but there is an advantage to it. There is an auction on Thursday night, so it's literally the first day of the show. There's an auction, so there's auctions on Thursday and Saturdays is typically been the deal. So you can, it's a possibility of some deals to be had. At the auctions. The Thursday auction is a better. I'm sorry. The Saturday auction is a better auction. The better quality pens are in that auction, but if you're looking for, you've ever been to an auction other than eBay? Yeah, it's I like pen show auctions. They're fun. All right, so here's what we got to do. We need a whole front end for this pen, and this part. This is the part we need. So if we're really, really, really super lucky, and this isn't cracked, I might be able just to strap this in there and we're good to go. I see a mark, but I think it's a scratch. Okay, that's a good option. Let's just double check. Oh, that's no good. I'll tell you what, this could be the quickest, easiest repair ever. So Greyhound, if you're still in over there on YouTube, we've got a section here. We got this whole piece is what you need. It threads in right. It's the right color. There's no cracks in it, at least that I can see, which is good. So let's All right, well, that's a good sign. Yeah, pen show auctions are great. They're really great. But you know, the thing is, the thing with the pen show auctions is it completely depends on a couple of factors, right? It depends on the quality of the pens and the interest, the level of pens in the auction. Because sometimes you got cool stuff, and the other thing is you have to have buyers for said cool stuff. So the entire room is John Holland collectors, and there's no John Hollands in the auction. It's not that interesting, at least for what's going on. You've got a John Holland collector and there's a really interesting John Holland. Well, actually, what you want is unless you're the John Holland collector, you want two John Holland collectors so that there's bidding. But um, let's get this stuff out of the way. So, I mean, sometimes you get auctions and then, and like, I didn't think the Thursday auction, you not heard of John Holland? Um, John was one of the big names in the pen industry in the very early days. One of the largest pen manufacturers. Um, in fact, if you had ever, if you'd ever been to our shop or seen pictures of our shop, we had a very large photograph. Well, it's not a photograph. It was a period print. I guess it was a photograph. I don't really know. It was very old. It hung in the John Holland factory in the vice president's office. That's all I know. A photograph of John Holland himself. We actually had a picture of John Holland in our store for all the years that we had it, pretty much. Fantastic early pens. Did not really survive into the 1920s very well. But the hard rubber stuff is phenomenal. Dip pens and things like that. Well, Greyhound, I think we got you a pen here. That's the easiest repair I've ever done. Look through some pens, grab one. First one I grab is and for a Parker 21, and for several people I am sure in the chat will attest. Hans for sure will attest. It is not easy to find a Parker 21 that doesn't have a crack somewhere in it. So I think, let's just make sure. I'll write with it for a little bit. You just got back and heard your name, yeah. Do they have reserves or is it no reserve? It can be either. Well, this one's got a crack, so that's not going to work. That's a nice nib, though, so. The crack on that one was right in the middle. So, as much as I'd love to say that was the easiest pen repair ever, it's not going to work. So we're going to have to. We need to replace the hood, or we need to replace the whole front section. Yeah, crack 21. And the odd thing is the crack is in the middle. The crack is in the middle. So, we'll be able to sort this out. Sorry, didn't mean I jumped the gun there, Greyhound. We'll get it. We'll get it fixed though. Ship of Theseus paradox. How many parts you change before it's not the same pen anymore? Well, in this case, the important part is the barrel, because it's a family pen, so we want to keep, But if we don't have the middle part of it, it doesn't matter, right? Putting together an order, grabbing a 45 for yourself, Eco or Lamy Safari for your daughter. She draws a lot. I mean, you're going to have a higher ink capacity on an Eco. Otherwise, you've got to go with, probably a converter. A cartridge will have more capacity on a Safari. But it just depends on, if there's a color that she likes. That's going to work. That's not going to work. That's the wrong kinds. However, why don't we just do this? This is a new old stock unit. You're patient. All right, good. You like the nibs better on the Eco? Greyhound, what are you thinking? Do you prefer fine or more of a medium? This line width here is just kind of a fine. Your mother probably originally had a fine nib, I would gather. Before I do this, that's cracked. That's not going to work. You've got a Diamond 580 ALR. It's got a nice tip. Yeah, I mean, I actually was reminded today I had to pull out a pen out of my case. I've got a 580 AL in Prussian blue in my briefcase. Now it's got a stub nib, so. But if your daughter draws, she might want a extra fine nib. Just an idea. You never had a Lamy though, so may end up getting both. Try. The nice thing about Lamy is you can get extra nib units for them, and they're really super cheap. Usually fine. You never had a medium. I mean, this is a real, this is a nice nib. Now, what I have to do is I have to replace just this green part. But I can also just replace the whole piece. So you found your lamis dry out quickly. The cap seal is better in Eco. Yeah, I've got plenty of people who will attest to that. There is a new Eco coming out. It's not coming out for a couple of weeks though. 26th, I think, is pre-sale date, and it ships on the Friday, Black Friday, actually. But I've got a local customer who collects every color Eco comes out, she gets one. She's got a silver lily put, but it's small in her hands for the extended drawing. Yeah, she needs something bigger. Yeah. There we go. There's a new Eco every week, isn't there? Yeah, there's a few. So this one won't fit. That's Thanks for the follow. I can't even pronounce that. Accipiter F1. Thanks for the follow. Welcome. Well, this is keeps the tills ringing for the Twisby collectors. Yeah. This is going to be. That fits in there, but that's not the right. Need to start doing is putting these away so I don't get them mixed up here. How are the kitties? Oh, the kitties are doing fine. Thank you for asking. Max and Seiko still tearing up the house. They love the new stairs. We got carpeted stairs this time around, so they love running up and down those things. It's just so nice. Okay, this is the one that has a crack in it. I know this is redundant in a Parker 21 bin, but so I don't put it back on the same pen. Throw that in there. All right. See, the problem is there are two distinct different kinds of Parker 21s. There's one version with a shallow. Well, there's actually multiples. There's a larger opening and there's a smaller opening. And the important part is trying to figure out which version is going to fit. So this one fits. Let's see if there's a crack in this hood. The nib is destroyed, but we can polish this up nice enough. So the real test is to kind of ink it up and hold it. This one's this one's got a look at this nib. I have the world's first Fude 21. It is actually perfectly bent. Oh, that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's the most ridiculous thing ever. All right, Juicy. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Um, my test here is only because I believe this is a good unit. This whole unit is good. The nib is good. But I need to find two of the same unit with a good hood. These nib units have the feed is stuck in there, so I need to have. They're probably for this. Oh, it doesn't fit on that one. No, wait a minute. Let's look at this one. Ooh, this looks like the right one. This one's nicer looking too. Nope. It's cracked. All right. So I don't see this leaking anywhere. So we're gonna try to get this hood off. We can get that hood off. It should go on there, and then boom, we're done. Except I don't have a housing on it, so it's hard to grab. Gotta head out. Have a great one. All right. Thanks, Addie. Yeah, you're not gonna get that one, Graham. It was merely a test to see if there's any cracks in the hood or the shell of that particular pen. Well, I wonder. Because I don't really care. It sort of fits in this. I don't care what happens the rest of this unit. I just got to get this foot off. And I don't think these spare nib units are the right type. Okay. Keep your fingers crossed, folks. Tomorrow needs to be clean. Brian clean his desk day, I think, is what needs to happen. So the hood moved, so that's good. But what I want to do is, as cool as that little Fude action is, I want to straighten it out. Wow, come on. Where'd it go? This is insane. I just had that pliers, didn't I? All right, I'll use this one. I want to bend that down so that the totally wrong pliers for the job, but oh, here we go. I'll use these. Ah. All right. Well, this is not going my way. It came off, but it cracked coming off. Well, no, that's not going to work. Of course, I dropped a clutch ring at the bottom of my thing, so that's not going to work either. Oh, option 3. All right, so okay, that's an nib unit for that. I would really love one of these to screw on, but it's not the right threading. These are kind of one-piece units. Well, they're not one piece, but they're all pre-assembled. Which is great if you've got this part that these just thread onto, and then you're in good shape. But this is the second generation. All right, well, let's see. Clean out these threads here first. Well, I wish I'd had this pen 2 weeks ago. Oh, I don't think this is. I could have looked for parts and. Oh, what son of a. That works, but I need a feed. It looks like a standard. So these are a no-go. 51 style feed. Yes. This is by far the better nib unit. So we're going to have to. Well, I'm going to have to soak that and see if I can get that feed out. So we'll try that. So that's cracked. That's no good. We're not completely out of options. Those are just the green options. But maybe I can find a different pen that I can steal the. If this works, we'll see if this works. We're going to let that soak. Sorry, Greyhound. I thought that was going to be a quick, easy. In and out, but it's not. So, but that's how it goes sometimes. So we'll let that section soak. We'll see if we can get that feed out, and then we can put the feed in here, and then, oops, I don't need that. And then maybe we can get this other unit here to work. So let's take a look at this Aikin. The nib needs some work too, so this is this is a pretty good project. But we'll get the section off first, so we can knock the nib out, and then we can find the correct feed. And surprisingly, I do think this is actually a J-bar in here. So it's such a thin opening. We got to be careful. It's definitely a multi-piece bar. You can kind of see through here. There's a piece here that's attached to the bar here, so we've got all sorts of complications going on. I'd like to get it out in one piece. Would be nice. But it's getting caught on the hole. So I don't have a matchstick. If I can just... Really what I need is I need 3 hands here. I need to pull it. I need to hang on to it. I need to push down on this. But if I do that, there we go. And interestingly enough, all right, is anybody still awake? You got to check this out. So this is the bar. All right, it's got this little piece here, which slots into the bar and then sits at the end. And what do we have right here? You see this? There's a view from the end if you want to see what that looks like. This is why sometimes you never know what you're going to find. I cannot believe this. I can't believe this at all. This, my friends, somehow is the missing part of the feed. Mind you, the hole is plugged, but it got in the barrel. Oh, Lordy. I don't know how. Now, the section was not difficult at all to get out, so there is a possibility. I'm sure I've probably done something similar at some point, that it broke off and somebody just threw it in there so that in the future one would know what to look for. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with. But whoever did it, whether it was, I doubt it was me. I am losing my mind here on my bench today. Where the heck are my... Oh, there it is. But now we know exactly what it looks like. So when I go to my parts bag, we'll just be able to match it up perfectly. I'm going to heat this up. That's the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time. All right. So let's clean this nib up so we can figure out how we got to fix it. That's pretty strange. I think this is otherwise I mean, it looks nasty. I mean, it's black, right? It's otherwise. But we can't tell how good or bad it is until we clean it up, and we certainly should not try to fix it until it's clean. Some kind of very it doesn't feel like India ink because it's coming off a little too easily, but it's definitely thick. It's definitely been on this nib for 100 years. And this is one of those cool things where Aikin Lambert numbered their nibs. This is a 002. Not a 2, not an 02, a 002. All right. At least we can see what it is now. It's got a small start of a fracture heading up the breather tube, breather hole. All right. So this is actually a rounded, this might actually be a miracle if I actually have a feed for this. That's actually a decent pen right there. It's actually got a Remax nib on it. I could put this nib, or that actually goes on that pen. Probably threads better on this one, but that is not what we're dealing with right now. I wonder. These are too big. I didn't check, so I mean we could be striking out here. Anybody have a red hard rubber Aikin Lambert cap they want to sell me? I got the rest of the pen. I need a nib, but no. That's easy. All right, now I'm doubting myself because none of these have this exact same nib. T.U. Lee, how you doing? But it's such a thin section. These are all way too big. Mustache and beard for football season. Yeah, mustache for Movember, actually. Which is a movement for supporting men's health, suicide awareness prevention, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, things like that. So you, for the month of November, you grow a mustache. This might be the right size. The other option which is not a good option. As I wonder if we could epoxy this. Back together. It's all there. Is it a moving part? No, it's the feed, but I don't have an original feed. I thought I would. You successfully purchased your first order of Cardinal pens. Absolutely fantastic. You're excited and happy to be able to support such amazing family business. Yeah, thank you very much. I didn't know this was going to be such a rabbit hole. So I've got this this lovely bucket here, which has not been sorted through. And lo and behold, look at that. Is that the right feed out of the gate? I think it is. That's impossible. I wonder if it's not the right feed to begin with. Well, here's one called the Jefferson. That's a similar feed, but it's slightly more bulbous. And so the thing about Aikin Lambert is there's not a ton known about him. Well, I take that back. There's not a ton written about him. Except for passing references in any number of pen books. And the fact that they were purchased by Waterman, made pencils for Waterman. And then lived out the remainder of their sad, pathetic life with some plastic pens called Skywriters and things like that. Oh my goodness, look at this. Wow. Okay. I suppose I should tell you what I'm excited. This is actually an early Aikin. It's only marked capital. But it has the same feed. Now this one looks a little bit bigger. I know I've got at least another Aikin or two in here. I found a very rare one a while back, and then I accidentally dropped it back in. Well, that's too long. The question is whether that front part of that feed is too long or not, because it's very short, this little bit here. Like, this is the same style, but look how long it is. It's super long. We'll keep that out just in case. Yeah, this is where, like, hard rubber pens go to die, is this little case here. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. You just need a nib, a feed, and a cap. That's a nice diamond point, is what that is. How about that feed? Right idea. It's obviously for something completely different. That's when you want to save an old sack. You got to run, Hans? All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Vacuum Oil Company's Gargoyle Mobile Oils. No idea what that means. Oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, that's too small. There's a whole pen holder in here. What is this doing in here? So we're just going to pull a couple out. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, here's another Aikin right here. Oh, I think I'm going to give up here pretty soon. No, not right. Oh, what do we got here? That's maybe an option. There are some very nice parts in here, but... Oh, here's a maybe Todd. I should probably put with the rest of the maybe Todds. All right, well... This, my friends, is how you end up with bags and bags of parts. And then your hands end up like that. All right, so this is what we got. I think I'm going to clean it off first. I may never find that part again, but there it is. Make sure we don't lose that. This one's way too big, so that's... We know that one's not right. These two are definitely Aikin. Eyedroppers, even. So there's a lot that can go wrong here. It's such a small piece. But the nib itself is short, so well, that sure looks right. But we have to almost have to sand it down because that one's too big. This looks like this is a middle joint. Yeah, look at this. I gotta look at my parts bins more often. This, my friends, this is a Sterling, which I know is confusing. They're famous for their middle joint eyedroppers. Sterling, as in, not as in silver, but Sterling was the name of the company, Boston, Massachusetts. So instead of having the joint right by where your fingers are, they put the joint in the middle of the pen, right here. And then it wouldn't leak. I mean, if it leaked, then it would, you know. This is mostly morbid curiosity. It has nothing to do with this pen, but you can see these are super cool pens. You don't see them very often. That. So the idea is you fill this up. You can fill it all the way up to here, and then this just slides on top. clean that off a little bit. So at least the next time I run across it in my parts bin, I'll and get excited about it. I'll be able to open it. But you need a cap, and it's a threadless cap. It's a friction fit cap, but it's got this weird flange on the end. All right. Let's see. I have to inspect these barrels because I know there was an early Aikin in one of these barrels in this bin that had a really cool early patent engraving on it, and I don't think it was this one. So let's see if that works. All right. Trick is going to be kind of finding the tip after I dropped it in here. Yeah, not quite right. You can see how shallow that is. And this is just a smidge longer. I just don't think we have the right feed for this pen. Well, I know we don't. um, yeah, it's not right. This is considerably too large for the opening. I'm going to put this back in, I think. That's too thin. Well, we are left with no options here. No good options. And if you know anything about early pens, sometimes you got to have, sometimes these parts were made, they're inconsistent sizes. They were hand done. They were handmade. Um, Now, in the past, we've used epoxy on some Schaefer feeds, but those had a rod that went through the middle. There's just not much here. See how small that is. And you can see on here the little part where the channel is. That's the part that broke off. So the next question is how far out does that sit? Because the nib's going to go in, it's going to cover that 002 mark. Probably to there. And the break, sorry, this is not working out here. I can't do it with my, if I line the feet up, here we go. That's where the break is, and it's going to sit in the barrel up to there. And since it sits up, there's really nothing holding it in place. So it wouldn't matter how deep it sits in because it's not going to be in contact with the section. I think I got my only option I think is to epoxy it. And I don't think that's going to hold very well. Let's at least clean this bar off. All right. You can see a little wear on the top where the bar was pressed down with the matchstick. All right, let's see if this 21 section soaked long enough. Maybe we can get that. Maybe we can get something done today. The snorkel went together. That was good. I think if we can get this out, we can get the 21 back together. There we go. Okay. This is more akin to a, yeah, see, we need a breather. We need a breather tube there. I wonder if one of these will work. That would be too easy if that worked. Oh, okay. I'm going to go through this whole thing and we're going to find out that this, there's a crack in there or something. I'm going to think positively, though. That's not going to work. Okay, so after all that mess, this isn't going to work at all. I have to get this apart and see if any of those other units fit on here, but I don't know if they do. This is how it goes some days. This is not a very successful successful day of repair. I thought the Aikin was going to be easy. All right, I'm gonna have to do a little think on this. I'm gonna have to find another. They just don't like to come apart easy. So I'm gonna have to sort through some parts. Um, and I have to figure out. This should come out. It doesn't look like it was molded with the threaded portion. Just for funds. It won't go in because All right. So there's more research that needs to be done here. I don't normally work on 21s, and this is kind of the reason why they become frustrating right quick. So I think probably I'll have some kind of idea of what we're gonna do with the Aikin tomorrow. We'll get some resolution out of that. It's not going to be a pen that's gonna be used. It's quite a fairly scarce pen to begin with. It's early, so if at least we can just get it together, um, it'll be better off than it was when it started. So we'll go from there. A reminder: I'm gonna. I'm at my limit, and it's also 5, so that's a good time for me to stop. Sorry, Greyhound. We'll continue on this tomorrow. I've got lots of other parts pens. I just need to find one that's going to fit this particular. If I can get one to fit this piece here, maybe we can put it all together. But there's a couple distinct different options. Dinner, yeah, I don't know what we're doing for dinner. It's an early night, I guess. So, as a reminder, tomorrow, due to vendor missed shipments, I may be slightly late because I don't want to leave 100 pounds of ink sitting outside my door. It's been fun to watch you tune tomorrow. All right, very good. I'll try to do some work in advance so that we don't sit here and pick our noses while we watch me look through parts bins. I may be a little late tomorrow. Hopefully not, but I've got to go to my house and pick up some 100 pounds of ink. And so I'll be here when I be here. But I will be here tomorrow sometime. And as a reminder, for those interested in the Dr. G's, I just got it in stock today. So if you're interested in that, it is available on the website and ready to ship. So, all right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Good to have you. Appreciate the follows and the subscribes. I do appreciate it. Other than that, have a great evening, a good afternoon, a good morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well of all things. And we will catch you tomorrow. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye now.